Welcome to this training where we focus on what really matters most if you want to drop unwanted pounds, boost energy, and ultimately operate at peak performance. Because what I see with a lot of guys and talking to gents on a daily basis is there's so much going on out there. There's confusion, there's lack of awareness, there's lack of understanding of what actually moves the needle. And what happens is we try something, we lose hope after a couple of days, a couple of weeks because we don't see results or it's too difficult, and we kind of go and try the new thing hoping that that will work, and we don't know whether it's keto, we don't know whether it's paleo, we don't know whether it's low carb. There's all sorts of stuff out there, and it leaves us with a state of confusion. And when you're in confusion, you feel anxiety, you create overwhelm, which leads to burnout, and you just feel as though you're shortchanged. You don't know what to do. You've got nothing left to spend, and you just give up ultimately. And what we think works isn't necessarily the case. Now, from, like I said, speaking to guys, we've got this idea that this quadrant of it's like 25% diet, we've got to run miles on the roads, we've got to go to the gym a couple of times a week, and we've got to say no to all the things we like, the parties, the social occasions, the football with the lads, the beers after work, that kind of thing. We can't have all that, and we've got to like sample this stuff off, and we've got to restrict ourselves till we lose 2 stone in, I don't know, 12 weeks, 6 months, whatever it is, and then we can go back to what we were doing before. The problem is with that leads us back to the path what we're on now, which has got us into the place that we don't like. So if I was to give you one bit of advice right now, is that nutrition makes up about 70% of your effort. It's easier not to eat the cupcake or drink the beer, don't consume the 300 calories, than it is to exercise it off. Simple as that. And you only have to do this 80% of the time. You don't have to be 100% perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress, and it leads to procrastination. So although if you are drinking tons of beer and you are eating processed foods, then yes, you do have to cut down on them. But you are allowed that kebab. You are allowed a pizza once or twice a week, and you can go out for beers with the boys as long as you're not chugging back 10 pints and having a pizza on the way home. That's going to ruin your efforts. But ultimately, you can still do stuff. Now, this is what works. Yep. This is what works. And if you stick with me, there's a bonus onto this, which not only does this work, but what we do is how we tie this into your day and how we make sure that you consistently keep this going. Now, nutrition. Just cut out the processed crap, especially the snacks, and limit your portion sizes. If you can cut out the snacks and make sure it doesn't come from a packet, so you're eating apples, oranges, pears, bananas, kiwi fruit, grapes, berries, whatever it is. A punnet of strawberries is about 160 calories. Same price as a grenade bar, even cheaper, far better for you. Set your calories at about 1,800 to 2,000. If you don't like doing calories, just cut your portion sizes down by 1/3. What we normally find is that we overeat, we overconsume calories. And much of this comes from portion sizes, because we go out to restaurants, we see big portion sizes because they like to fill you up. You then go back to them and they fill you up with cheap stuff. Ultimately, we then get used to that size of portion and we eat it at home. You don't have to have that size of portion. When you're in your 40s, when you're in your 50s, your metabolism slows down, and therefore you have to lower the amount you consume. Water. Just drink 2 to 3 litres of water a day. And don't drink your calories. So stay away from the Monster Energy drinks. Stay away from the milky coffees and milky teas and the sugars in the teas as well, and coffees. If you're going to drink coffee, try and have it black. If you're going to drink fizzy pop, have it Coke Zero or 0 calorie energy drink, something like that. Now, sleep. Aim for 7 minimum hours quality sleep. So that means if you get up at 6 a.m., you've got to be in bed asleep by 11. To be in bed asleep by 11, you probably want to be turning off all your devices by 10:30. I have some training on sleep. If you want it, get in touch. And I'll also link it down below on the sleep. Steps. aim for 10,000 or a 4-mile walk. Yeah, 10,000 throughout your day, or at the end of a day, beginning of a day, whatever it is, go out for a 4-mile walk, get a bit of a sweat on. You don't have to run. Just make it strenuous and challenging for you, and you will be okay. And then on top of that, look to exercise twice a week, doing weight training, lifting some weights, and doing some 1 to 2 sessions of cardio a week, at least 20 minutes per session. So if you weight train for 2 times a week and did cardio once a week, 20 minutes each, that's 60 minutes in a day. And if you're telling me that you can't spare 60 minutes in a week, sorry, not a day, 60 minutes in a week, then we have a very serious problem. But we'll come on how to solve that in a bit in our bonus training. Because the truth is, when you are living a life that's got you in a position where you feel flat, you've got no energy, you want to make a change, you're carrying unwanted pounds, you're not very fit, and you're lacking self-confidence, self-worth, the chances are that you are not treating yourself very well. And almost anything and everything will work if you stick at it for 8, 12, 16 weeks long. Now, we have what I call a commitment code, and it's very, very simple. You win the day. You get up, you win that day. You go to bed, you get up, you win the next day. Don't worry about what's coming in 12 weeks' time, in 4 weeks' time, and even in a week's time. Maybe even tomorrow. Don't worry about it too much. Win today. We worry what's happened in the past and we worry about what's going on in the future, but we don't focus on here and now. You've got to execute. Execution is everything. Yeah, if you don't take action, nothing happens. And you've got to focus on failure. When you fail, which is fine, by the way, yeah, it's perfectly fine to fail. When you fail, what happens is we focus on that. We understand why we're doing it. We stop ourselves. So we identify the problem. You focus on a solution. And you quit. Only ever quit tomorrow. The problem is you wake up the next day, you quit tomorrow. You wake up the next day, you quit tomorrow. Do not quit today. And we just follow a simple set of rules. Show up, do the work required, follow the process that you've set, and I'll come on to that in a second, and just give a shit about your own results. And if you can do this, you will eradicate those excuses, reasons, explanations, whatever you want to call them, such as you're too busy, you're too tired, you don't have time, there's something else going on, I can't stop because of my business, I've got a deadline to meet, it's the wrong time of the month. Oh no, sorry, that's for the women, but sometimes it's applicable to some guys as well. Yeah, so here we are, the bonus. That's what we should be doing. But how do you make it work? Well, I focus on, and I get guys to focus on what I call the Triple S formula, which is structure, systems, and standards. And this, if followed, so we do the basics, which I've just talked about, you follow this formula, you will lead to success. Now, structure. It's all about fitting things into your day that you need to do. So when are you going to exercise? What time? Yeah, what time are you going to exercise and for how long? If it's at 5 p.m. for an hour, it's scheduled in. What time are you going to eat? You're going to have breakfast, lunch, and an evening meal. That's 3 meals scheduled in. What time are they going to happen? Schedule it in like an appointment. You don't miss appointments at work. You won't miss a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment. Don't miss appointments that you set yourself. You should be high on your priority list. And if you're not, you need to sort that out. When are you going to go for the walk? When are you going to close down work? One thing I get asked by the missus all the time, when are you going to close down from work? And when are you going to bed? Schedule it in. I go to bed at 9:30. I'm asleep by 9:30. I have half an hour bedtime routine. That means at 9 o'clock, I'm winding down, which means at 9:15, I've got a reverse alarm on my phone, which says it's time to go to bed. And this is the daily, weekly, monthly plan that you execute in order to see success. And within that structure, you then put in systems. And these are the processes in your life that make things easier. Yet, such as what is your morning routine? So when you get up and you follow that routine for an hour, what is the system for it? What is the process? What is the process for your evening routine? When you go out for a meal, what's the process that day so that you don't overconsume calories? What process do you have? For example, I look at the menu before I go to that restaurant and I identify what I'm going to have before I get there. That way, when I get there, I'm not going to eat with my eyes, and I'm going to have predetermined what I'm going to have. Am I going to have a starter or a main and a dessert? I only have 2. So that's part of my process and system. Yeah, I only drink water when I'm at the restaurant. What happens when you get home after a hard day's work and you're about to raid the fridge? What system do you have for saying no and getting around it? Or that system for when you convince yourself you're starving, how do you get over that? These are your behaviors, and behaviors, when executed and practiced long enough, turn into habits. And then when you've got your systems within your structure, you set standards. And this is setting the appropriate standards for your ability. So if you're not drinking any water right now at all, then just set yourself drinking a litre. Once you can drink a litre and a half. Once you do get that done for 7 days, drink 2. And you're just raising the bar every time. It's like going into a high jump competition. You just clear the first barrier, you get over that, you keep going and growing and going in height. How many calories are you going to eat? You know, if you're stuffing your face with about 3,000 and you need to diet, cut down to 2,500 and then cut down for 2,000. Do it gradually over time. You'll make things easier. You drink alcohol, you like alcohol. How many units and pints are you going to drink each week? If you drink 21, can you cut that down to 15? From 15, can you cut it down to 12? And remember, the aim is simply to get better, not to get perfect. And in most establishments, a distinction is 80%. You don't have to be perfect. Don't try too hard. Most guys try and cram too much in. They don't have systems for overcoming obstacles, and they try and set the standards too difficult. And they wonder why they don't succeed. And it literally is about setting a foundation from which you can then lean upon to fit the jigsaw puzzles of life together. And once you can do that, you're going to succeed. And it is then just a matter of, once you've got those 3 things in place, getting up, creating those daily tasks, giving yourself small targets, hitting your standards every day. That's winning the day. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small or how big they are, and just analyze your performance at the end of every day. Yeah, analyze what went well, what didn't go well, why did that not go as well as I thought it would, what can I learn from that, and how can I improve upon it, ready for tomorrow. And remember, don't quit. You only lose if you give up. Now, we've got Yanis here on the left, we've got John on the right. Yeah, as you can see, both of them have seen good results over 12 to 16 weeks. But it's not just the weight loss, it's the energy, it's the fittest, healthiest I've been in a long time. It's the more confidence that I've got to be able to sort my kids out, to go for that new job. You know, there's all sorts of examples. Tim here on the left, examples of how not to quit. Tim here on the left, Jan on the right. Tim's lost over 2 stone in half a year. Jan's lost over 2 stone in 12 weeks. And it's about, Tim had COVID, then long COVID, living in isolation, and still was able to carry on using this formula, setting his standards and just turning up every day with the rules and the commitment and the support from us. So the question is, what would you be able to do if you had a simple, proven plan that was tied together with your very own bespoke Triple S formula? What would you be able to achieve? And we could then, if you can imagine that, and you can tie that into what you're able to do, we can then have a strategy call. I'm inviting you, there's a link down below in the comments, I'm inviting you for a strategy call where we can look at the roadblocks that have been holding you back. You can gain clarity and certainty on your end goal, what it is, what it brings for you, and the benefits it gives to you and other people. And then there's a greater understanding of the behaviors that you need to adopt in order to succeed. And then what we do is we create that Triple S formula in order to make it happen. So if you want to book in a strategy call, the link is down below. It's there, becomeempowered.co.uk/book a call. Yeah, get that in. There's no obligation. We are willing to help. There's enough people out there that want to work with us. We are willingly offering this for free. But the question is, what's going to stop you from quitting? If you've quit before, how many times have you tried and tried and tried? And how did that turn out? And the question is, what's going to be different this time? And the amount of guys that say, I need to try and do this alone. The question is, why? If you've tried and failed, what's going to be different? And the truth is, you're not getting any younger. And that's where these guys all turned the corner, admitted to themselves they need help, they reached out, and they've seen amazing success. And most of them have kept it. So the question is, what's stopping you? And if not now, when? get in touch. We'll see if we can figure it out.